so here we got the Nilight ZH007 LED light bar, 12-inch, 72 watts, spot flood combo with off-road wiring harness. This comes with a 2-year warranty. This will be for the left and right side of the Mercedes Sprinter. So let's get this installed. I'll show you how to do that. Let's go. Okay, so for the side light, you're gonna want to mount it right around here, the 12-inch light bar, to give left and right side lighting. So let's go ahead and mount this light bar. So I got some 1-inch pieces of metal to go into the roof rail, and they will go in with these bolts, and this will bolt into the light bars, 2 on each side. Okay, we're on the roof of the Sprinter, and to get those 1-inch steel parts that I made to slide in here underneath the roof rail and on top, we're gonna want to start and remove this this end cap here. You'll need a screwdriver, a large screwdriver, and a hammer. Take that off, and we're going to want to mount 2 of these, 2 for each light bar. We got the 1-inch steel and the bolt. We're going to slide it under, and we're going to have 2 because there's going to be 1 and 2 on the light bar. Put this end cap back on, and we're going to proceed to slide these. When you get to this plastic thing, you're going to want to use a screwdriver and a hammer and get it past that plastic piece. Okay, now we got past that plastic piece, we can go slide it to where we want to mount the light bar. Okay, so I'm right over the sliding door of the van, and to get it where I want it, I'm going to use that little circle there on top of the van, and that's pretty much in center with the sliding door. So I'm going to line it up so that we're center with that, and we'll mount it right around here. You can use the provided Allen key by Nilight, and you can loosen these and slide them side to side. So I'll take the two steel 1-inch spacers that I made and put them here, and then we'll get the 2 brackets provided by Nilight. I'll go 1 on each, and we'll follow up with a bolt on each side. Okay, so now we can go ahead and put the bolts that came with the lights, and we can bolt them on. Okay, so once you have your bolts in place, you can angle it to where you want. You can have it pointing straight out. You can point it 45 degrees down. Depending on where you want it, you can adjust it and then tighten the bolts so it stays there. So I'm gonna have mine just facing straight out for now. And I'll go ahead and tighten the bolts. I'll add that zip tie there so it stays flat, so I can run the wire this way onto the next light bar. So the next light bar will be installed the exact same way on the other side. Okay, so now that we have the light bar installed on the right side, you can see how it looks. Okay, so same process like the other side. We now have both 12-inch side light bars installed on the roof rail. So now let's run the wires. Okay, so we got 2 wiring harnesses. one for each light, the left and the right. And we have the instructions here. So we're gonna go from the light bar into the battery and then to the switch inside the van. And because we're using 2 light bars, we're gonna be using 2 wiring harnesses, one for each light, so we can turn them off and on individually. So let's go run this wire up from the roof into the van. So on this wiring harness that they give you, it actually powers 2 lights with 1 wiring harness, but since we're only using 1 light per switch, we're gonna cut off one of these wires because we're only gonna be using the 1 light bar. So you can see here, the wiring harness comes off into 2. This would be 1 light, 2 light. We're gonna cut this one off because we're not gonna use that. And we're gonna tape it up. We're gonna tape that up with electrical tape. With that cut off and taped up, this is gonna go to the light bar. So we got this from to the light bar. It's gonna run all the way down, and then we have this that will be by our battery to connect the red and black, and then this will connect into our switch, our off and on switch. So here we are in the Sprinter, and in the previous video we removed the headliner, the first panel, and we removed the B-pillar cover, we moved the seat and all the panels to get to the bottom. You can check out the other video of installing the 54-inch light bar to see how we did that. So with all this removed, we're gonna put this wiring harness into the battery compartment, the auxiliary battery compartment, and we're gonna run it underneath. Underneath there's an opening, and we'll run it up. So inside the base of the driver's seat, we have the auxiliary battery axis here to the positive, and down here is our negative at this bolt. So we're going to connect our power wires to the positive and negative, and there's a hole underneath here. I don't know if you can see that, but we're going to run it underneath here, and then it will come out from the bottom, and then we'll be able to go up this B-pillar up into the roof. Okay, so in the first video installing the 50-inch light bar, you can see where I installed this gland, and that's why I didn't seal it with the lap sealant yet, because I do have other lights to install. So I'm gonna remove the three bolts to get inside access and run the wire out. If it was sealed, you always want to keep a wire in there so that you can fish a wire through. So I have some extra wire here, and I have the two wires for the side lights here. I'm going to connect the wire up to here, zip tie it, and then run it across to the next one and zip tie it there as well. I have it wired up, and I'm going from the right light across, zip tying it to this light and into the gland. Now I'll go into the cabin and wire it up to the buttons on the inside of the dash. So here's the lights, the side lights wired up, and I put one of those brackets I made. I put it there so I have something to zip tie these lines to, and they're going into the gland. Okay, for the side light wiring harness that's in here, we're running it from the bottom across under this out through here. We're going to fish it up and then over to these two switches right here. We're going to pop these out and then put the toggle switches in there. So I can go from the bottom, pop these two out. Okay, for the side lights, we're gonna do the jumper and the jumper into the toggle switch. So we're gonna cut this and then place it under the driver's seat and then run the wire to the toggle switch. So from the switch, we cut the red wire. We're gonna connect 1 and 2. We're going to seal this up and then run the wire up through and then to the switch. Okay, so you can see with the toggle switches, you can turn them off and on. You turn it off, it goes up like that, off and on. So now let's go get these button covers with the toggle switches mounted in there. Okay, so on the right side of the steering wheel, the switches have been installed. Off and on for left and right. Alright, you can see the lights on for the right side. The switch would go on, but if I turn it off here, the switch goes off and it's off. Now I can begin to zip tie all the wires along the side of the door and tuck them in, and then I can put the pillar cover back on, the seat back on, and we'll go test these side lights out. Okay, we're in the Sprinter and the car's running with daytime running lights. And if I look to the left, this is my view. It's pitch black out here. But once I put on the left light bar, now I can see everything. Bar off. And without that light, we wouldn't be able to see the side. Now we got the front light bar. And let's put the side light bar. So now we have the left, the front, and the right. So as Alligator mentioned in the previous video, I turned these floodlights angled to this area right here, so it covers that dark spot there. If I cover it, keeps that part dark, but if I let it go, alright, so we got the side, we got the 45, and we got the other light bars pointed forward. We got pretty much 180-degree lighting, and then when we install the rear, we'll have the rear lighting too. So yeah, these are the 12-inch flood light bars, and it's lighting up a large area.